Andrew Urquhart with you. Still a bit dusty after 24 hours in Paihia, but gosh, some wonderful encounters that we had at the Treaty Grounds in Waitangi. Of course, you can see some of that if you missed it on Shine On Demand, shinetv.co.nz. Joining me in the studio, though, head of digital media at Social Media, Justin Smith. Kia ora.
Atamaria, how are we doing?
Doing very well. So how was Waitangi for you?
Probably... Oh, so hot. I wish I could have got away. I did the old take a Monday of the day's leave.
Strategic, man.
Yeah, which I used to sort the bathroom floor out that I've been waiting for 4 months to do. So
sounds relaxing.
Admin, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Today, though, wanting to talk about something because there were a lot of voices at Waitangi, and there were people that had certain views on some issues that they were passionate about. And in a number of different ways, there's a bit of tribalism. You know, you had this crowd with these flags and this other crowd had different flags or perhaps no flags at all. But honestly, it doesn't need to be an event like Waitangi for that to be the case. We find ourselves in that space in social media all the time. We have this sort of online tribalism, and I mean, some people have described it as a bit of an echo chamber that the algorithm decides that the sort of content that you see, the sort of people that you're going to engage with in social media are the sort of people that have the same opinions as you. I mean, is this just me or is this a real thing?
No, that's absolutely a real thing. And it's really important, I think, to note that it's not just the platforms and the algorithms themselves. Okay. It's us.
Yeah.
So, echo chambers, and I've written this down, are environments where a person only encounters information or opinions that reflect and reinforce their own.
Yeah.
We understand that. However, the social media algorithms on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., they curate content that aligns with our previous interactions, creating a loop of similar ideas.
Yeah.
So we are, equally being fed by the platforms, ideas, opinions that validate our own, but actually we initiated that in the first place.
We did.
Through our own actions.
We told YouTube, this is the sort of stuff that I like watching. YouTube says, oh, you like that, do you? And serves you some more.
Exactly. And that's how we get, fantastic subscribers on the New Zealand Rhema YouTube channel, consuming all of Andrew's amazing videos. And if you haven't been there, I encourage you to go and subscribe.
Lots of good stuff there, people.
Indeed,
yeah,
indeed.
This is turning into an infomercial, but there we go. Hey, is it possible, though, okay, yes, it's our own choices. We've got some agency here, but the algorithm is kind of pushing.
Yes.
It's pushing us that way. Is it impossible in a social media space to intentionally encounter a diversity of views?
It's not impossible, but it's actually really, really difficult. And I suppose the first thing is actually making that decision with intent to go and pursue someone with a different, viewpoint to your own. That is really hard to actually do because where do I start? I know what to search for roughly when I know what I want, but how do you go searching for the opposite is actually quite tricky.
And we've kind of got a little bit comfortable because, I mean, hey, before social media, we had this phrase, birds of a feather flock together. You hang around with people that you get on with, who have a similar view, a similar political persuasion, similar faith perhaps, to where you're coming from. That's just human nature. But honestly, if you're looking for an argument, don't talk to somebody you agree with. If you're looking to broaden your horizons and go, hey, I hadn't thought of that beforehand, don't go on social media. Is that too harsh?
No, that's pretty accurate. And I think that's because the nature of the way information is so readily available to us in the digital space, we can consume so much of it at once and we just get so overloaded with it, at the click of a finger, whereas in the past it would take quite a bit of voyaging to go and encounter people with different viewpoints, and you have time to digest and actually hear. And as it says in James 1:19, my dear brothers and sisters, take note. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry.
Wow,
that
doesn't sound like social media.
No, that's the thing. It's very hard to do exactly those things. When you're just.
It was cool that actually James was inspired to talk about Twitter all of those years ago, or X, as it is now called. But yeah, I mean that's particularly relevant. Look, I don't want to be the old guy pushing back about how social media has wrecked the world, but actually it is increasingly difficult, and sometimes it can be comforting, but sometimes it can also be damaging. That sometimes these echo chambers can take us down rabbit holes and expose us to only one view on some quite almost radicalizing ourselves through social media. There's definitely some traps in social media that, I mean, particularly during COVID.
Yes.
We're all at home on social media. Quite a few people ended up down these rabbit holes. They radicalized themselves through the algorithm.
Yeah, absolutely. And COVID's a fantastic example that we're all familiar with, but there's a whole host of, topics and ideas with which we get the same, type of interaction. Think health, think parenting, think any topic, nutrition in the world that you want, and you will
Views
find
on the treaty, perhaps?
Exactly.
Exactly.
There's all these really, at every single scale, we're constantly being formed by these loops. And so we have to take the onus on ourselves to go and pursue and ask the questions and find the people with different viewpoints, and then engage in a manner in which we can actually listen, be slow to anger if it's something that is really abrasive to us, and actually digest and meditate and pray, and be really considerate about what it is that we're hearing, as well as potentially constantly checking ourselves to go, the viewpoint that I have and I've held on this particular thing, again, might be something as harmless as my own personal exercise regime. I've been pumping tin the way I've been doing it for 20 years. Turns out, perhaps actually there's new science or whatever that better informs a better approach. So we have to take that upon ourselves and pursue it, and that's really hard.
Yeah, it is really hard. I mean, another scripture, I think 2 Peter, have a reason for what you believe. And we kind of get stuck in that space and we go, no, I have all the knowledge that I need for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm not learning and growing anymore.
Yeah.
I'll just surround myself with people that reinforce that. Yes. That's when we stop growing, really.
Entrenchment. And the word you use there is growth. Yeah. I personally love growth. I love challenging myself, and that's something I'm constantly pursuing, is going, look, what don't I know? I need to know more. I want to understand just creation, the marvelous, how really a tree, this tiny seed, and I look and there's pohutukawa out here that blue. How? I just don't know. I want to grow. I want to learn. But in every area of life, we should be curious and, striving to challenge ourselves and reinvent what it is that we know and not get entrenched.
In this sort of information age in which we live, and more information, not less, helping us to grow and expand our horizons, and it's certainly an encouragement to be intentional about that. Justin, thank you so much for your wisdom and bringing us into that space, challenging us to push back against the algorithm.
Yes,
perhaps do it. Thanks for joining us today.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us on Rhema. Now, if you found value in today's content, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel with the subscribe button. This really helps us to continue to produce more quality content for you. And hey, if you'd like to stay updated and never miss any of our future videos, ring that notification bell as well. Don't forget to follow us on our other socials, which are in the description below. And until then, stay tuned.